I think everyone running RPGs needs to know about this mechanic in Legend in the Mist called Succeed with Consequences. To many of you this may seem obvious, but I want to delve into this idea a little more and why I think it's brilliant, especially if you're someone who's only recently gotten into role-playing games. And if you stick around, I'm going to tell you about how that attitude can be extrapolated to a whole game, not just the dice mechanics. Welcome to Mystic Arts, where nothing is holy, not rules as written, rules as intended, or rule of cool. I just do what I want. My name is Daði, I'm a professional writer and director, and I've been DMing for over 10 years. This video is sponsored by Son of Oak Game Studios' Legend in the Mist. It's a rustic fantasy narrative-heavy game with a unique character creation and resolution mechanic. You might be familiar with its predecessor, City of Mist, which was more sort of neo-noir and had these superhero-style powers. This one is fantasy. But really, once you grok the basic parts of the game engine, you could use it to create anything. Every character is defined not by classes or levels, but by tags. These tags are literally just words on your character sheet, like Blacksmith's Daughter, or Marked by the Forest, or Strong as an Ox. They are this game's replacement to your stats or features, because the game has no stats. One way to look at it is that you could create a character with the tags Dwarf and Cleric and Light Domain and Acolyte, and that would be it. Well, they'd each give you a few tags each, but we're keeping things simple to explain. But instead of Cleric giving you new class abilities every level or spells, you simply add a +1 to your roll if that tag applies. In fact, let's do this. Let's imagine a typical D20 fantasy scenario and explain how Legend in the Mist would handle it. It's going to be especially easy with their 5e crossover tool. Let's imagine my dwarf cleric is navigating through a dungeon. The narrator, or the game master, decided I needed to make a navigation roll to find my way. I, the dwarf player, ask if my dwarfiness is helpful. Well, according to the 5e crossover tool, I've got tags like Stone Cunning and Dark Vision. The narrator agrees and lets me add +2 to the roll, because both Stone Cunning and Dark Vision would help me. So I roll 2d6, the default roll, and add 2 for the 2 tags that apply. When you roll dice in Legend in the Mist, you compare it to a chart. 10+ is a success, 6 or lower is a failure, or what this game calls consequences. Anything between those is a success and consequences. That's right, both. Pass-fail mechanics are a dime a dozen in RPGs. It's the sort of basic foundation of what we're doing at any given point, but they're kind of useless terms, really. Pass, I suppose, is fine. It means the story progresses, but failure just means it stops dead in its tracks. You cannot progress, which is terrible, because if you can't progress at all, you might as well just stop doing anything and go play
Wingspan instead.
The other thing that's wrong with pass-fail is that it's binary. There is no success but, or failure but. You either succeed or you fail. There's a chasm to leap across, you fail, you plummet to your death and make a new character. Thanks for playing. Well, that sucks. That's really, really bad design, because it means that more heroes are killed by leaping across chasms than by fighting epic monsters, because the chasm is a one-roll death, and the epic monster merely does damage. I mean, if you want a game where monsters are weaker than a small ditch, you can knock yourself out all you like with that design. Or you can make a game where the monsters are also one-roll deaths, and dying is just an integral part of the game. But personally, to me, neither of those sound particularly appealing. I would much prefer a game that challenges me, where death is possible, but it's rare enough that I'm super invested in my character and I don't want them to die. Well, Legend in the Mist has a solution. There are hundreds of RPGs designed with a framework referred to as Powered by the Apocalypse. They use a 3-step ladder of success and failure. That 10+ is a success, or 6 or lower is a consequence, and results in between are both. Relatively easy to keep in your mind. 10 or higher, you clear the chasm. 6 or lower, you suffer consequences. That's right, you don't fail. You just suffer consequences. The pit won't kill you. This game isn't simulationist. It's a narrative game. It's trying to make sure that we tell a story. Think of it this way. There are no Indiana Jones movies where he gets killed because he didn't jump good enough. But there are plenty of situations where he leaps into something that gets him into more trouble. So what happens? Well, there's a list of consequences on page 160 in the Legend of the Mist core book. It says, types of consequences. Consequences are any kind of negative development and twist, such as blocked. You'll lose the chance to act, reach a goal, or find a lead, or a certain course of action becomes unavailable for you, forcing you to find another way. Complication. You are placed in an uncertain, undesirable, or awkward position. Exposure. Someone starts paying attention to you, finds out what you're trying to hide, or reveals they are aware of something you thought hidden. Ill tidings. Something terrible or grim happens around you. New challenge. A new, unexpected challenge appears at the scene. Yes, but only when you achieve success. Your success is somehow partial, delayed, or conditioned. Negative effects. You receive undesirable tags or statuses. These may include, and then there's a big list of suggestions that they use in the Legend in the Mist tag system. For example, let's say you leap across the chasm, but barely reach the other side. You catch onto the lip of the chasm and sprain your shoulder. You take damage. Or in Legend in the Mist terms, you get a negative tag, like sprained shoulder. Or for our dwarf navigating the dungeon, let's say he rolled a 5, adding 2, and that's a total of 7. That's both success and consequences. The narrator decides that yes, he does navigate to his location successfully, but he also gets the exposure consequence. Now someone is watching my dwarf, a monster the dwarf will have to face later, no doubt. So the dwarf successfully navigates these tunnels, but now there's someone following them, and the story continues. The dwarf doesn't get lost. There is a yes, but mechanic baked in. This way, we guarantee that we can tell stories. Failure would have meant getting lost. But if we stop and think about failure and just replace that word with consequences, I think we're going to be better at running RPGs. Any RPG. This is a brilliant bit of design. Legend in the Mist plays around with this idea by having there be sacrifices, drawing more power, and helping one another. If that all sounds interesting, then you're in luck because this is the best time to get the Legend in the Mist core book. They have these amazing sets of acorn-shaped D6s that come in a faux leather scroll, perfect for the game's rustic mood. They've got special bundles through November, ending after Black Friday, Cyber Monday, so guarantee your copy with those special offers so you'll get the game when it ships early next year. And you'll get the PDF instantly to tide you over and start playing while you wait for the book. And if you just want to try the game, then there's a free Choose Your Own Path comic book tutorial that's been downloaded over 25,000 times. It'll teach you how to play. If you love to immerse yourself, don't miss out and grab your copy before Cyber Monday. Now, let's take this gradient a step further. Instead of 3 steps on our success to failure ladder, let's imagine all results exist on a 6-step list instead. Yes, and something good happens. Yes. Yes, but something bad happens. No, but something good happens. No, and something bad also happens. This is a good reference as a game master. I mean, you can systematize that into your game, but most games don't because it's sort of needlessly prescriptive. And it's wordy, it's so long, oh my god. You, the narrator, can just remember that this gradient exists, and you can use them to judge any result in whatever game you're playing. If you're playing a D20 game and you see a medium difficulty check, you could break it into steps that range from yes and to no and. You could do the same to any idea a player could have. Just judge it based on merit alone, no roll necessary. Legend in the Mist does this explicitly with their simple way of determining outcomes. Just think who the character is, what they can do, and then say whether or not it works. Is the thief-like character sneaking past the sleeping cops, or trying to pick a simple padlock? Yeah, just let it work. This brings us back to replacing failure with consequences. Think of it this way. If you can't think of any interesting consequence, then there is no good failure state. So don't roll the dice. The consequences are boring, so don't ask if there should be any consequences. Just have it work. You ask for rolls when there's interesting consequences. When both success or failure, or both, push the story forward. Failing to pick the padlock means you can just pick the lock again. That is dead boring. What is the consequence of failing to pick the padlock? Getting spotted? Running out of time? Having to hide breaking the lock? I don't know. You tell me. Find the fun in failure by thinking of it as consequences instead. And that's where we'll pick it up next time. Thanks so much for watching this video. This channel is run by me and my girlfriend,
Dwarf Cleric.
And if you want to support us directly, consider joining our Patreon as an adept supporter and get access to our digital magazine, The Broadsheet, and a PDF back catalog like magic item crafting, hexploration, firearms, a class, some spells, some magic items, and more. And if you're feeling especially generous, you might like the video, comment, share, or subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified when we release new videos. Until next time, keep studying the mystic arts.